Number 8. If rugby positions were personalities at a party, the number 8 would be the one who somehow manages to be on the dance floor, in the kitchen fixing the snacks, and outside sorting the Uber queue, all at once. They're the Swiss Army knife of the forward pack. Sitting at the back of the scrum gives them a commander's view of the battlefield, and their game is about juggling responsibility with flair. Their personality is equal parts power and intuition. Strong enough to bulldoze through traffic, sharp enough to know when to slip a pass, and confident enough to take risks that others wouldn't dare. The timeless archetype here is Zinzan Brooke, the all-black trailblazer. This guy had a personality that oozed daring. He didn't just hit rucks and carry hard. He tried drop goals from 45 meters in World Cups. He literally wanted to bend the game to his imagination. Then there's Ardie Savea, who plays like a human highlight reel, his personality radiating raw energy and hunger to dominate every collision. His explosive runs and audacious offloads are him saying, why settle for ordinary? And that's the number 8's personality. Be everywhere, do everything, and do it with a touch of authority. Scrum half. If rugby has a motor, the scrum half is the heartbeat. They're the constant chatterbox, the bossy little sibling who tells everyone where to be, and the spark plug that refuses to let the game slow down. Personality-wise, they're wired differently. Sharp-eyed, quick-witted, and just a little bit annoying in the best possible way. Their behavior on the field is the purest expression of this character. Snapping passes, barking orders, harassing the referee, and forever looking for the gap that nobody else spotted. Do we have examples? Let's talk about Gareth Edwards. Edwards wasn't just a link between forwards and backs. He was a live wire who could rip through defenses himself. His famous solo try for the Barbarians against the All Blacks is just one mind-blowing example to go with. Or should we get into Aaron Smith, the perfectionist metronome? His lightning pass and obsessive precision reflect a heartbeat that doesn't race. It clicks, steady and flawless, keeping the whole team in rhythm. While styles differ, one thing is sure. The scrum half's personality is always the same, and the team can't breathe without them. Fly half. Rugby's brain lives in the fly half. They are all about composure, vision, and authority. They're not the loudest voice on the field. That's usually the scrum half. But when they speak, or more often, when they act, everyone listens. A fly half's behavior reflects that steady confidence, scanning the field, weighing options, and then pulling the trigger with a kick, a pass, or a run that changes everything. They're the calm in the chaos, the chess player in a game of brawlers. For these traits, look no further than Jonny Wilkinson. Wilkinson was intensity personified. His pre-kick stance alone showed a personality built on obsession with detail. But he wasn't just a kicker. His fearless tackling and tireless work rate reflected a general who led by throwing himself into the trenches. In the modern game, the fly half has stretched the role to include artistry and risk. Finn Russell is the maverick commander, pulling rabbits out of hats with outrageous offloads and daring chips. His personality thrives on chaos, turning structure into opportunity. Richie Maunga, on the other hand, blends flair with control. He's the complete package, kicking, running, passing, always with a clear sense of when to tighten up and when to go bold. And this is the fly half, a leader who can both write the plan and rip it up when brilliance calls. Wingers. On the edge of the field live the thrill seekers, the finishers. Wearing 11 and 14, they don't spend the whole game in the spotlight, but when their moment comes, they're expected to turn half chances into points. Explosive pace, razor-sharp instinct, and the confidence to back themselves when it matters, that's this guy. They're patient for long stretches, but when the ball finally swings wide, they switch in an instant from quiet observer to ruthless predator. A finisher is equal parts sprinter, gambler, and showman. The timeless versions of this archetype are as different as they come. Jonah Lomu was a raw force incarnate. His behavior on the field, plowing through defenders like they were speed bumps, reflected a personality that didn't second guess, didn't hesitate. He was direct, overwhelming, and utterly terrifying. His personality said, "Why go around when I can go through?" At the other end of the spectrum, David Campese was rugby's artist. His goose step and daring offloads weren't just skills, they were personality traits. An unapologetic flair for risk, a showman's refusal to play it safe. Where Lomu bulldozed, Campese danced, proving that finishers can be either blunt force or pure cunning. Either way, the job gets done. Loose head and tight head props, 1 and 3. If rugby were a rock band, the props would be the bass players. Crucial to the whole operation, but rarely noticed unless they mess up. These guys are the bookends of the front row. the ones who willingly stick their heads into a place most people would never put their hands. The loose head props up on the left, the tight head on the right, and together they're the reason your scrum either holds steady or collapses like a dodgy camping chair. Props don't live for highlight reels. You won't see them pulling off chip and chases or crossfield grubbers. What you will see is them shifting half a ton of meat in the scrum, smashing into tackles and carrying straight into contact with all the subtlety of a shopping trolley on a steep hill. Take legends like Oostdurant or Jason Leonard. These guys weren't pretty runners, but when they packed down, you knew the scrum wasn't going anywhere. Or look at Tadek Furlong today, built like a fridge but with surprisingly soft hands. He'll monster you in the scrum, then casually throw a sidestep that makes a flanker look silly. The truth is, props are the team's foundation. Without them, nothing works. The backs can only look good if the big lads up front are doing the ugly work. Hooker number 2. The hooker is rugby's ultimate contradiction. Half scrappy brawler, half obsessive perfectionist. Wedged between two props in the scrum, they spend half their life with their head shoved where no sane person would volunteer. Their job? Hook the ball cleanly with a flick of the foot while being crushed like a beer can. Blink late and the other pack walks right over you. Nail it and your team's rolling. Then there's the line out. Suddenly this mud-soaked gladiator is expected to transform into a quarterback with sniper-level accuracy. Pressure? That's Tuesday for a hooker. They're relentless pests in the best way. First to dive into rucks, to take a hit, to get back up and do it again. They hit low, they hit hard, and they'll carry into contact with the enthusiasm of someone who clearly doesn't value their ribs. But the beauty is in their discipline. Hookers know when to pick a fight and when to deliver that slick pass to keep the game flowing. Look at legends like Sean Fitzpatrick, who set the standard for ruthless consistency, or Kevin Mialamu, who seemed indestructible. Fast forward to Malcolm Marks, basically a flanker cosplaying as a hooker, ripping turnovers and smashing tackles. That's the hooker, equal parts battering ram and detail freak, messy, disciplined, brutal and precise. Openside flanker, the thief. The openside flanker is that noisy neighbor who's always in your business. The personality here is pure thief, opportunistic, relentless, and just a little bit cheeky. They live for the breakdown, swooping in the second a ball carrier hits the deck, hands like magnets ready to snatch possession. Their whole on-field behavior screams predator, fast, low to the ground, and absolutely fearless. The timeless blueprint. Think Richie McCaw. He wasn't just good at turnovers. He practically made a career out of redefining the rules around them. His personality was all about obsession and perfection. McCaw lived in the grey area, always a split second ahead of everyone else, bending the game to his will. Fans called it cheating, teammates called it genius, but either way, it worked. Then you've got Hamish Watson. Nicknamed the Mish, he doesn't just steal the ball, he rips it away like it owes him money. He's compact, explosive, and a nightmare to shift at the ruck. These are the perfect representation of the openside flanker. Disruptors, the ones who force mistakes, swing momentum, and leave the opposition wondering how their ball vanished. Inside centre. The inside centre is rugby's bruiser and playmaker, a fascinating mix of blunt force and subtlety. They're the ones asked to truck the ball straight into traffic one moment, then sling a silky pass the next. Their personality is built on this duality, part battering ram, part chess player. They thrive in collisions, relishing the contact, but they also have the vision to unlock defences and link the fly half to the rest of the backline. On the field, their behaviour reflects someone who is at once uncompromising and composed, a hinge that keeps the entire attacking structure alive. Few capture this blend better than Ma Nonu and Mike Tindall. Nonu's career was a story of transformation. Early on, he was the archetypal bruiser, charging into defenders with terrifying acceleration, a personality driven by dominance and sheer force. But as he matured, he added finesse, clever offloads, sharp distribution, and perfectly timed lines. His later years showed a player who married power with intelligence, becoming one of the most complete centres ever. By contrast, Mike Tindall leaned fully into the bruiser persona. He wasn't flashy, but his defensive work and brutal carries reflected a personality that was stoic, loyal, and tough as nails. Tindall showed that sometimes being the dependable enforcer is the most valuable role of all. In modern times, it's gotten even trickier. Today's inside centre must be both wrecking ball and playmaker, a balance of grit and guile. Outside centre. The outside centre is rugby's architect, basically a mix of creativity and calculation. Someone who reads the game 2 or 3 phases ahead, then executes with timing that makes everything look simple. On the field, their behaviour reflects a character who thrives on building opportunities for others, through clever angles, quick hands, or perfectly weighted passes. but who also takes ownership when the moment calls for a decisive line break. For this, we have Brian O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll was the ultimate rugby brain wrapped in fearless commitment. His personality shone through in the way he spotted gaps no one else saw, breaking lines with subtle footwork and that trademark handoff. Yet he was just as ferocious in defense, often making breakdown steals or try-saving hits. His actions revealed an architect who was not just a creator but also a protector, combining intelligence with bravery. The modern game gives us Lukani Am, a defensive mastermind, constantly marshalling his outside backs, making intercepts and turning defense into counterattack. His personality is that of a problem solver who treats defense like a chessboard. That is the architect, the brains of the backline, who balances invention with control. Fullback. The fullback is the last line, rugby's safety net and secret weapon rolled into one. Their personality is a fascinating balance between cool composure and daring flair. At one moment, they're the calm figure under a swirling high ball, the reliable tackler saving a certain try. Next, they're launching a counterattack from deep, sparking chaos with blistering speed and bold ambition. They thrive on responsibility, steady enough to be trusted when everything is on the line, yet audacious enough to flip defense into attack in the blink of an eye. Best example of this, Serge Blanco. Blanco, the French maestro, was rugby's great showman at fullback. His personality came through in his fearless counter runs, never settling for safety, always looking to create. To him, catching a kick wasn't the end of a phase. It was the start of something thrilling. He played like a maverick artist, turning broken play into opportunity and left defenders chasing shadows. We can also talk about Stuart Hogg, the all-rounder. His booming kicks, incisive line breaks, and clever positioning reflect a personality that is equal parts strategist and spark plug. He manages games while also deciding them. No position is indispensable, but everyone has their favorites, and we'd like to know yours. Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our videos.